Of course, let's start the show right now. Now, the Federal High Court in Abuja has adjourned ruling in a suit seeking the deregistration of 4 political parties: the African Democratic Congress, Accord Party, Zenith, Labour Party, and Action Alliance, over alleged failure to meet constitutional requirements. At the heart of the case is a critical question: is INEC constitutionally bound to deregister political parties that fail to meet minimum electoral performance thresholds? Now, with arguments over jurisdiction, representation, disputes, and fresh counter affidavits, the court has now fixed March 24 for ruling, a decision that could have significant implication ahead of the 2027 general elections. Now, joining me right now on the program this evening is Raphael Igbokwe. Is the chairman BOT, that's the National Forum of Former Legislators. He joins live from our Abuja studio. I also have with me in the studio Kunle Oshobi. He's an ADC chieftain. He's, of course, with me in Lagos here, live in the studio. Gentlemen, thank you for your time.
Thanks so much for being here.
All right, let me.
Good to be with you.
Okay, great. Let me start with you, Mr. Oshobi. I mean, you are, of course, a member of the ADC, and apparently your party might just be on that, or might be on that list to be deregistered in lieu of the general polls. As a party member, a chieftain within the party, how does this hit you?
Actually,
are you worried?
No, I'm just amused. I find it.
Are you thinking of defecting?
I'm
just asking.
No, not at all. I'm just amused. It's actually amused, and it's.
Why are you amused?
Because it's obvious that these are just games. I think some games are just being played to deflect from the real situation. You know, as in like, in my opinion, I think it's been orchestrated by the ruling party. I mean, I haven't realized that they failed. Right, and they don't have anything to sell to Nigerians in 2027. They want to create a situation whereby they will return unopposed. So, I mean, this has been going on for a while, right? The orchestrated division within the PDP, within the Labour Party, within the NNPP, you know, and of course, when we realized their game, we decided to, let's say, okay, let's coalesce. Let's have a coalition within the ADC to wrestle power from APC in 2027. Right now, they've gone back to their same old games of causing division because they don't have any achievements to sell themselves.
So are you saying that some of the issues that they pointed out has been the reason for this deregistration? Are you saying your party is absolved of those issues?
The reasons, I mean, the reasons, if you go into the Constitution, the constitutional provisions for deregistration of a party, I mean, deregistering a party, ADC has been a party. We've been operational for over 20 years. And all the requirements for a party to remain operational, I mean, ADC has met them. You understand? I mean, I think that was a former court case that was decided. I've forgotten, I don't remember all the details, but it's been established that, look, there are certain things that you need to meet, certain requirements that you need to meet to retain your registration as a party, and we've met them. At least we've won tickets in both the National Assembly and State House of Assembly, because you need to win tickets in we need to win, I mean, have representatives at those levels, which we have. We need to have operational offices in at least 2/3 of the 36 states of the Federation, of which we have operational offices in all the 36 states. So the requirements, I mean, we have made the requirements to remain as a functional party.
Okay.
You know, so the issue of us being deregistered, I don't think it arises at all.
Okay, let me go to our Abuja studio where we have Raphael Igbokwe, who's chairman of BOT, National Forum of Former Legislators. Mr. Raph, it's great to have you. But from what we, of course, also understand, you are those that are pushing that some of these parties be deregistered. If I'm correct here, what is the motivation? What have you seen? Why do you think this party should not be on the list? Why do you think they should be expunged?
Yeah, thank you. first of all, I need to lay this foundation. We're a group of former lawmakers cutting across different political parties, including ADC. And part of our objective is promoting good governance and adherence to rule of law, and also advocating for transparency and accountability in public office. So having laid that foundation, we are more of a public interest group. And what we have done is to approach the court to seek for interpretation of certain sections of the Constitution, to call on INEC, which we expect to be able to carry out their constitutional duties. And where they fail to do that, to now seek the interpretation of the court if they are at liberty to choose and pick when to act and when not to act. So it's the outcome of that interpretation will define what will befall any political party that doesn't meet the constitutional threshold. So the intention of our suit is actually to help strengthen and expand our electoral jurisprudence. It's a constitutional test that is meant to uphold democratic standards. And if our charge to every political party is anybody that knows, any party that knows is operating according to the law, have nothing to fear. And I don't see why the hue and cry about a suit for the registration or this or that. What lets the courts interpret. Our happiness is the said section of the Constitution 225 have been adequately interpreted by the Supreme Court in the past. Our challenge and our concern is 5 years, 6 years, 2020, INEC applied this section in doing some house cleansing to present to Nigerians political parties that will be qualified to present candidates for the 2023 election. So if they applied it then, what has changed? Why they are not taking that administrative steps now to also early in time present to Nigerians the political parties that will be qualified to present candidates for 2027? This is the issue. And once that can be addressed, I think it takes care of every other thing. Thank you.
All right. You said quite a couple of things, which, of course, I know that Mr. Oshobi would like to react to. But we'll go on our first break. When we return, the show continues. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television. And of course, I still have my guest with me, Raphael Igbokwe is chairman of the BOT, National Forum of Former Legislators. Of course, he joins from our Abuja studio. And with me in the studio here in Lagos is Kunle Oshobi, is an ADC chieftain. Gentlemen, thank you for staying with me. Let me come to you, Mr. Oshobi. Mr. Igbokwe has raised a couple of issues and given reasons why they feel some parties should be delisted, should be deregistered. Let me just quickly go through, what or the conditions that might just make a party, be deregistered. Now, if that party fails, for instance, to win at least 25% of votes in a third of states and the FCT in a general election, fails to win a seat in the National Assembly election, fails to win any governorship or state legislative seat in a state, fails to meet the required number of offices in at least 24 states, and the FCT fails to have a functional office in at least 24 states, and the FCT fails to participate in 2 consecutive general elections, fails to comply with provisions of the Electoral Act or INEC regulations. These are just some of the conditions here. Yeah. And part of what they are pushing for is maybe a party like yours, the ADC, should be off the list. You said a couple of things. How do you react?
The way I react is that, ADC meets virtually all the conditions for a party to remain registered, right? We have people, we have elected representatives, both in the National Assembly and the state, at the state level. We have parties in all the offices in all the statistics of the Federation. You understand? We've contested consistently in all elections in the last 20 years. So all these conditions, ADC has met them. And according to the law, there was a previous judgment on this case. I've forgotten the judge that made the judgment. It was like, this is even cumulative. Once you meet one of those conditions, you don't even have to meet all. 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 In ADC's case, at least we meet maybe 70 to 90% of the conditions. Once we meet one of the conditions, then you're eligible to remain registered. You know, so it just brings me to what exactly is the motive of this, what they call themselves, National NFFL, or what is their motive? Chief Igbokwe just said that...
maybe we should ask him what's his motive.
What is their motive? Okay, because if they're actually after good governance, we have a lot of issues in our political system, chief of which everybody has been shouting. We want a transparent electoral process. We want electronic transmission, live electronic transmission of results, where the government has been shying away from, deliberately running away, not even shying, running away from. Because it's now obvious, now glaring to us, that they don't want a free, fair, and transparent election in 2027. Any sincere organization that is concerned about a decent, a free and fair electoral process, like he claims that they are, that's what they should be fighting for. So they should not be fighting to kill the most viable opposition party. Because if you are actually interested, sincere, about defending or protecting the political process, then we should have a vibrant opposition in the country. It should not be trying to sabotage his organization or whoever they are representing, because they might be representing somebody else or another interest. They should be interested in a free and fair election, and they should also encourage a vibrant opposition.
All right, let's of course take his response. First, he asked the direct question. Mr. Igbokwe, what is the motive of your forum in all of this? And do you think that your priorities are actually, you know, in the right place? According to what Mr. Oshobi is saying, he said your fight should actually be to ensure a free and fair election. For instance, the electronic transmission of results in real time, how to hold the process accountable and not trying to kill the opposition. Do you think this is the case here?
Well, thank you. It's unfortunate that the issue is being approached from this angle, and I sympathize with him because he has really expressed his knowledge about the law, the much he knows, and he has read out what he thinks are the conditions to be met. But the advantage of programs like this is an opportunity to for us to educate ourselves and educate our viewers and listeners out there. So I will urge him, first of all, it's important, even you, Dapo, you ought before now to go through what Section 225A says. And let me also inform you that that section has been interpreted by the Supreme Court. Well, he's not aware of the name of the order. Let me refer you, you can get hold of NUP, National Unity Party versus INEC, or advance...
Okay, I want you to land because I'm going to comment.
Let me land.
Okay.
Now, what I'm trying to emphasize that that section has been interpreted. And the general legal principle is that when a section has been interpreted by the court, that remains the law. So the issue now is, what is the law as to the issue of retaining continued existence as a political party? What he has just read out is conditions, regulation to be met when you want to register as a political party. That's another issue. We are talking about continued existence. And now those conditions, one, because most of us in the forum participated in the process of passing some of these laws. So we know the intendment, and which is what the Supreme Court have rightly interpreted. One is that you should have spread. The spread is, it must be spread at the federal, state, and local government. These three conditions must be met. This is where the confusion is. So saying that you have a member at the state, at the National Assembly, you have a member at the State Assembly. He has not told us how many members he has at the local government. And in all the elections, you read in your own piece, I don't know where you got that from, that yes, you're supposed to have 25% of the total vote cast in the presidential election in a state. That's for the federal threshold, or a member in the National Assembly. Now, he has not told us that yes, in the last presidential election, they met 25% in one state. Now, two, for the state level, you ought to have 25% in one local government in governorship election or a seat in the State House of Assembly. Then at the local government level, you ought to have won a ward or have a councillor or chairmanship. And these three conditions must be met. That's the Supreme Court's interpretation. And that the failure to meet any makes you liable to. But the motive behind this is to put everybody on their toes, to provoke thoughts, and to especially INEC, whose responsibility is to enforce the provision of the Constitution. The question he has not answered, the issue here is it on record that INEC, they registered 74 political parties in 2020? Was that the registration upheld by the Supreme Court? And what was the Supreme Court position? So if INEC applied that section in 2020, what is stopping INEC to also carry out that administrative process in 2026? This is the question. And if we are pursuing adherence to the rule of law, and if we say we are practicing constitutional democracy, and which is hinged on
Mr. Igbokwe, I'm sorry, I've allowed you to speak, but let me just throw something at you. And it still goes back to my question, and I just want a straight-out answer. Why now?
Okay.
And what is the motive? I still insist on it, because you did not answer that.
Okay, thank you very much. You said why now?
Yes.
Motive.
This suit was
and the
filed...
motive, please. The motive, because
yes,
some who are watching might feel, and I'm going to be very blunt, sir, that groups like yours might be sponsored.
You should be an arbiter here. So allow us
I'm just trying to reflect what people watching at home might think.
You are not at home with the facts of the matter. This matter was filed last year, not now. And the issue, you are likening it to this. If the police is after a murderer, and he has been running away from the law for the past 3 years, and he was only seen a day to his wedding day, are you saying that the police should not arrest the murderer just because it's a day to his wedding day? Or somebody who is driving on the road, you're going for a party or for a wedding, and the traffic officer stops you and asks you simply, where is your driver's license? What is expected of you as a responsible citizen is to present your license and move on with. Will you now say, a traffic officer, why is it today or now I'm attending a meeting or I'm going for a function that is asking you? So it doesn't come in. It borders on jurisdiction or qualification. And any issue on qualification or jurisdiction can be raised. It's a legal principle. Can be raised at any point. What you owe the people is to present yourself as a responsible entity. That's all. So why is anybody running away from eligibility or credibility test? That's the question. So the motive is to strengthen our electoral jurisprudence. And before the law, the rule of law, one of the tenets is equality before the law. So those political parties that were affected in 2020, they have equal status with any other political party.
All right,
now.
thank you very much.
What is good for the goose is also good for the gander.
All right, thank you very much.
Apply that law then. Why is he not applying it now?
I would like, I'll be coming back to Lagos right now to, of course, Mr. Oshobi. Mr. Oshobi, in 30 seconds, your reaction to this so that, we can wrap this up.
Well, from what you said, Mr. Igbokwe, he still danced around the issue of answering what his motive was. Just blabber debate and said something about rule of law, which to me, I mean, it's laughable because it should be obvious to the discerning that, I'll put it bluntly, they're being sponsored by those people. We know the people that are sponsoring them to cause havoc, to wreak havoc within the opposition. The APC, they failed. They want to return unopposed in 2027, and they have been doing their best to make sure that there is no opposition in 2027. They want to turn Nigeria into a one-party state. And it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. What Mr. Igbokwe said about the conditions listed, as I said earlier on, the conditions to remain operational as a party, ADC has met at least 70 to 90% of those conditions. And all you need to do is to meet one of those conditions to remain operational. I'm not a judge, but at least there's a precedent has been set at the Supreme Court level. You don't need to meet 100% of the conditions. All you need to meet is at least one condition for them to know that, okay, this party is operational. ADC has parties in 36 states. I mean, has offices. They're operational in 36 states of the Federation and virtually every local government. We have party states, both at national and state levels. So what else is he looking for? What else is he looking for? We've
All
got all the
right.
conditions.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. This is the beat we can take as regards this conversation. Raphael Igbokwe is the chairman, BOT, and National Forum of Former Legislators. Of course, joining from our Abuja studio, and also Kunle Oshobi is an ADC chieftain with me here in our Lagos studio. Gentlemen, thank you for your time.